What are you sitting on?
The stool.
What is the stool on?
Nothing. The floor.
How are you taller than me?
I'm not.
Are you sitting on your foot?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's kind of, I'm uncomfortable sitting on my butt. Are you ready? Okay.
Are you ready for Girl Scout cookies?
What?
Tim just texted me. 'Tis the season, apparently.
Of Girl Scout cookies?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
I'm gonna have to up my target weight. There will be signs. New goal, 175.
New goal, carbs 500 grams per day.
Samoa.
This is our first podcast of 2025, which is really exciting, and it's just something that I haven't had the ability or the, I don't know, haven't had the time really to be able to do. And I'm really excited that hopefully this can be a bit more of a regular thing and not have it be so sporadic. But we're going to be posted here now, which is really exciting. I'm really hoping that over the next however long it may be that we can get some good people on here.
There's no shortage.
Yeah. So I had the idea of kind of doing like a recap of our 2024, which I know that we had done.
It's going to take us all of 2025 to recap 2024.
Yeah, we had done quite a bit.
I'm going to take notes.
Okay.
Keep talking.
Well, I will need, obviously, your help to recap our year, but we did some really awesome things, and it's definitely worth mentioning and definitely worth talking about because we got to really just, I don't know, enjoy the year and travel a bit and do a lot of cool, fun things, and I just thought it would be kind of worth sharing. The end of the year was really cool because, for those who don't know, which I'm pretty sure mostly everybody does, I and Christopher and a few other people created their own programming here, which is really exciting. And that was kind of, past few months has been happening in the works for a while. And we got Christopher teaching classes, we have Coach Ryan, we have Coach Cassie, and soon Coach Christina. Cassie and Christina both do yoga, which is awesome, and I'm so glad that they're here, and I'm so glad that they're gonna bring their own energies to this space, and they've both been teaching so far, and it's been wonderful, and you should definitely come and take their class if you're available. We do have yoga Saturdays and Sundays, which is awesome.
I think some of the best parts about that, from my perspective, I guess that's an acceptable way of putting it, because all I really have is my own perspective, but is it cool to offer yoga? Yeah, of course. Is it cool to have an expanded fitness schedule? Of course. Is it fun, worthwhile to have a adult martial art program?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all of those things are great. The neat thing to see from my perspective is that it's all of those things are with people that we already had here.
Yeah, that's true.
In some manner. For the most part, they were all just people who were here for fitness, or their kids were here for kids martial arts.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even remember when the adult martial arts really started. I don't even know if that's something that you could lump into 2024, but watching that happen was such a fun thing, because once again, from my perspective, of like asking you for years to bring me into the fold of the curriculum, and just hearing all the dodgy, oh, you don't really want to do that. It's like, how many fucking times do I have to ask you to do this before you're finally going to see that I actually want, if nothing else, to just see what this is all about. I want to have my own experience with it, whether it's for a week or a month or 5 years or whatever. Just, and maybe the mysteriousness that came from, oh, you don't want to do that, made me want to do it more. So maybe you just knew how to like really get my attention there. But when the adult martial art program came together, it was, you know, like a couple of people independently of each other. So I was interested in you and I were doing things just like between classes, after classes, before classes, just so I could be helpful in the kids' class. And then at the same time, a couple of other people who are parents of kids in martial arts here also were expressing the same thing. Then within like 2 weeks, there was 8 adults that were all here and serious about it and consistent about it. And it's sort of been the same thing, the same theme, the same trajectory that I've seen with the yoga and the fitness schedule, is that, hey, I might be interested. Okay, here you go. Here's the new schedule. It's just kind of how it felt.
Yeah.
So one day you didn't have it, and then the next day it was just there, and it's really great to see it just with people that we know, because there's no like getting to know you, feeling you out. Can I actually trust you? Are you actually capable of what you say you're capable of? Like, I obviously have a lot of experience with just, oh, okay, we tried really hard, but you clearly lied on your resume. And just how exhausting and aggravating and demoralizing that whole thing can be. And definitely didn't want you to have to deal with that, or us to have to deal with that here. And to just see these branches shoot off so fast from the core has been, just makes me happy to see how quickly it's taken root and just grown support, and how just about every person that was already here and then saw that same growth has been nothing but excited, nothing but supportive, nothing but like, hell yeah, what else can we do? That's really great.
And I remember too just having like these thoughts or feelings of just like, okay, I can only do what I can do. Like I only know what I know, and I won't say I can't, but in this time, I can't really teach anything else other than what I'm teaching. So I just need to offer more, and I'm hoping that I remember, like, maybe if I could just find like one more person, like apart from us obviously, but just if I could just find like one person who can either do fitness or could do something else that I can't do and that you can't do. And then all of a sudden it went from wishing that I could find just one person, and then like 4 people. It became a schedule of like 4 different people who were just like, well, I know how to do this, or I can teach yoga, or I this, just like you were saying. It, like Joseph said earlier, it's like, you got to be careful what you pray for, I guess, in a good way, because it was just like...
In a great way, because I knew that no one person was going to be able to really make a big enough dent to
right,
to have a return that you would really notice.
Right, and I knew that too, but I was just like hopeful,
It's better than nothing,
it's
yeah, sure.
right, it's better than nothing, and I was just really hopeful for that. And then all of a sudden it just like kicked off with, everyone wanting to do everything literally within days of each other.
Just like the adult martial art thing of, oh, finally.
Yeah.
Just people were, okay, great, finally. I've been waiting for
Yeah.
this.
I remember,
day.
and Christina will tell you this, that, and same thing with Krista, like you, whatever. When they first, more so than because you obviously were a part of it for a while, but when they came here for just their fitness or whatever, they're like, oh, do you teach adult martial arts here too? And at the time I told them no. I was like, no, man, I don't really do that, not yet. Like, it's just kids for now, but you know, maybe one day, like whatever. And they were super bummed. And they never told me until like kind of recently that I shot them down, and they were super disappointed. And
I can relate. Years of being shot down.
that's not true. Only like a few times, not years. I didn't shoot you down though, I was just nervous. You made me intimidated.
But those conversations it takes a lot for people to step over a line in the sense of, not in like an aggressive way. I feel like that's probably easier for a lot of people, especially people in the area that we live in, but into a vulnerability of just expressing an interest. And I think this is, I don't know, maybe it goes for everything here, where maybe it goes for yoga is the same as martial arts and for fitness, but just in the experiences that we've had here lately, I can see where a parent or a fitness adult, I can see where some would just feel bashful about, hey, I'm 47 years old and I want to get into martial arts. That can be a daunting and intimidating thing. I've certainly had that experience with extracurriculars that I wanted to learn as an adult, because you're typically, and we've talked about this, I go into a place and you're surrounded by mostly children, and most of those children know way more than you do, and it's just a humbling thing to have to, day in, day out, every lesson, every time you show up, that's like, you have to chew and swallow that almost every single time. 40 years old. Can you help me with my belt?
Yeah.
Because for one, it's yellow, which can be like a thing of embarrassment, but then also, yeah, I need some help tying this knot, because I don't remember.
Which is so strange, because it's just like when I first started training, you started training Matt and Krista, which I'm sure that they won't mind me mentioning them, but they were just training regular clothes. We were all just training. Nobody, it didn't matter.
Regular
like
clothes.
Yeah, like nobody wore a
Not in
uniform.
PJs.
Yeah, not in a uniform. They didn't have a belt. Like no one cared. Most of the time, like I don't even care anyways.
They didn't care until their shirt got ripped.
Yes, until shirts and clothing got ripped. And then I remember Matt asking at some point, he was like, wait, we can get belts? What? Like he was just so surprised that was something that he could have.
Like
or that's
adult sizes?
right, like that was something that he's like, we can have uniforms too? I was like, yeah,
Just like
man.
when we were talking about going to the IKCs in Mexico, where we were just joking around about me competing, and probably if we had gone, I would have had to won by default by just being the only mid-30, whatever, purple
You'd be
belt
surprised.
doing
There would
whatever.
at least be like 3 in your division, so that's like
So
first, second,
guaranteed
third.
podium.
You get
Guaranteed podium just for showing up.
podium. Yeah, so you would have done all right. You definitely would have made it on the podium, but we did not make it to this year's IKCs in Mexico. However, whenever the next one
No, be careful.
comes around,
This could be in like South Korea or something ridiculous.
well, if it's reasonable enough, maybe we'll go. Yeah, it only happens every 2 years, I think. But yeah, it's just been really it has just been so cool, and I've said for so long that even way back like in Uxbridge of just like literally all I want to do is just teach adults Kempo. That's it. Like I didn't want to teach kids. I love them now. I didn't even want to do fitness, but it's kind of
and then every single time an adult comes and asks you about training, like,
no. I was like, no, I don't think you want to do this.
Oh my God.
Because
yeah,
I just had this perception that like, well, they see, you know, other adult studios that are doing like Krav Maga or this and that, or like more, how do I word this, less complex and intricate, less, you know, more easily digestible adult curriculum rather than this whole Kempo syllabus. And I was under the impression that that's what they thought I did, which I did not. So that's why I was just like, oh no, but then they're like, no, we want to do that. And I was like, really? So it's just like, be careful what you pray for, I guess, but in the best way, because I've only ever wanted to teach adults Kempo. I've only ever wanted that. And it's so awesome. It is so cool that Sundays we have the kids class and then we have the adults right after, and there are more adults sometimes than there were kids in the class previous, which is just like, that makes my heart so happy, and I am so grateful.
And the kids are basically
Adults now. Yeah, which is really cool.
It's cool to have been there
Yeah.
for that. I feel like this past year was a lot of just noticing that. EA used this story, and I know I'm using the imagery correctly, but I might be making up an entirely different story about it, but I just remember him telling me about a dirty door. And just, for me, I just picture when you open a door, especially if it doesn't have a door handle, you're pressing the same spot on the door day in, day out, and you don't see the door getting dirty, but it is, just from your hands touching the same spot every time. And so for the last 3, 4, whatever it is, 4 years, I guess, of being in here every single day, I haven't really seen the kids get old, because it's a little bit every single day. For whatever reason, this year there's been a lot of just each week, almost every class, just realizing, oh, I remember, like, this is a totally different person. Now, it's the same person, but it's a very different person than what I remember just even a year ago.
Yeah.
The same, like, core personality is there. A lot of it's maybe just maturity, and it's one thing I really love about the kids' classes. They've always, all the kids that you have, that we have always been very mature, maybe with a few exceptions. But
There's always a few. So there's always a few.
But just seeing, the point being that there's just been a lot for me this year of realizing that they are just little adults, young adults, how fun it is to be a part of that, and also just seeing how important we are to them.
Yeah.
You know, I think that might actually be a big part of what has been happening to me and for me. Is the first little chunk of time I really was just like a fly on the wall, and I was totally happy with that, like so fine. Partly probably because I just didn't know that there was this whole other level like there for me if I wanted it. And I think if nothing else, just from showing up so much, I was watching you enjoy your relationship with them, and just being really grateful to watch that. And then there would be little times here and there, like one day I wouldn't be here because I would just be doing something else, or didn't get out on time, didn't get here, whatever the reason, and you would shoot me a message, or you even at times would send me a video of them from class because they're like, "Where are you?"
They'd get pissed. They'd be pissed. They'd be sad. Just be like, where is he? I'd be like, I know this is. And I just, that makes my heart so happy, you know, like, yeah, it's just such a cool thing. And I never did it to guilt you. Like, I wouldn't,
No,
it was
I
never like
felt-
a guilty thing to like, oh, I'm going to make him feel bad because he's like not here. Christopher was not here because he was just doing something or didn't leave work early enough or like whatever. And the kids would just be like, where is he? And why is he not here? And
Yeah,
when is he coming
those
back?
first like 6, those first half dozen or so times where that would happen over the course of however long it was just a real eye-opener to, oh wait, they do actually notice
Yeah.
me
Yeah.
for being there. And I was trying to hide the first few months, the first year maybe even, maybe not that long, maybe the first few months was purely just trying to record stuff that you could use. And then they'd
now-
like ask me for help, and I'm like, I don't know what you're doing either. Like,
Well, that's not true anymore.
that was a big motivator.
Yeah.
That was a big motivator. I was tired of white, yellow, orange, purple belts asking me these questions. I'm like, I should probably know this by now. The amount of times that I've recorded it or just watched it happen, I feel like. And I
You
know
should know.
I know some parents feel this way. Like, where's my belt? I watched how many hours of this by now? I should have like an honorary.
Yeah, I know. Well, that is a thing, yes. But we've also run into our adults who train of, man, I've watched my kid do this so many times and it looks so easy. Like, I got it in my mind and now I'm, like, I can't, like, my body can't do it, but I know it, I see it. I've watched my kid do it, every week for the past however many years, and then they try it in their class and they're like, oh shit, like, I can't, I don't know. How did my kid get this so easy? That's really funny. That's really funny to me because I think sometimes a lot of parents underestimate this sort of thing and like how challenging it certainly can be if you're doing it a particular way. And then they come to something like a belt test or they come to a seminar, they come and they watch these things and then they realize like, oh shit, like these kids are like, these people even are just like really kicking the shit out of each other and they're taking it and like what they're doing is fucking hard. And like, I don't think sometimes a lot of people realize that, like a lot of parents just sit and they watch and that's awesome and they're supportive. And then parents like our adult students, they sit, they watch, well now I want to do it. And they're like, oh, they kind of get a taste of what it is to do Kempo a lot, which is awesome. Yeah.
What else comes to mind with 2024? Testing you against my impromptu notes.
We went to Florida.
That was the first thing I actually wrote down.
Okay, see that?
Joseph was just here.
Yeah.
We were actually talking about it.
Yeah.
We were joking, or he was teasing me about the video
Yeah.
that he sent us the other day.
Yeah, we went to Florida. I had never been to Florida before. And
I forgot about that. That's kind of funny.
yeah, I had never been. I've been quite a few places, never been to Florida. I mean, I've been, I don't know, not a lot, but yeah, I've never been to Florida before until this
You've
year.
been to more foreign countries than you have domestic states, I think. That might be true. If you count Italy twice.
Could be. Yeah. Well, Sicily and
yeah.
Italy are different. They're like the same.
Was that one trip? You went
No,
twice,
I
right?
went twice, yeah.
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 That's what I
But-
meant. I know you went
Yeah.
there 2 times.
But yeah, so we went to Florida, and that was awesome. And we went to Indian Rocks. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's where we went. and
Pretty
was
sure it still exists
fucking
after
beautiful.
the hurricanes.
I know. Yeah. It was fucking beautiful. Like, if you asked me to move there tomorrow, I'd be like, okay, bye, everybody. Or you can just move to Florida. But I can see why people live there all of the time. And we got to see the most beautiful, and if you live in Florida or if you live anywhere that's not Massachusetts and you see the sun far more than we do, You probably get to see beautiful sunrises and sunsets all of the time.
Sunset.
But
Yeah, we're on the, so it's on the West Coast.
we got to see the good. We saw the sunrise in Florida as well, didn't we? Yeah, we had to because I saw the fucking dolphins.
Yeah, I mean,
Because we woke up. I
right,
mean,
that's
we
you
woke
would've-
up early.
I would have had to have been awake for that.
I got to see.
I do remember dolphins.
Yeah, I got to see dolphins. That was pretty cool. Yeah, Florida was wonderful. It was awesome. It was so beautiful. And our Airbnb was beautiful. It was the first time I stayed in an Airbnb like that, like a house Airbnb.
Because we didn't stay in the one that we went to in the Cape. No. That Tito somehow found out where we were going.
Can we tell this story?
And sent.
Because I know Tito will absolutely appreciate this.
I think that basically is the story.
So
Tito knew that we were going to Cape Cod, and this is before I knew just how like sneaky Tito can be with his thoughtfulness, because he had asked us the name of the Airbnb, and now I know better. But at the time, it just seemed like I would ask that question because I would want to look it up because I want to see where you're going. Mm-hmm. Especially with Airbnb, because no two are really the same, and there's usually just like interesting stuff to see. Didn't know any of it, so I told him the name, and then you and I drove down there, pulled into the parking lot driveway, and I didn't read closely enough, so it was just not what we were expecting. I was expecting an entire household. It wasn't an entire household. It was like basically like
a room. You rented a room.
An attached apartment to the household.
But
And
it was
so
like
when we pulled in the driveway, and I was watching what they were watching on TV from the car, and I'm just like, I don't want to be.
Saw this guy just sprawled out on the couch.
I don't want to be right next door. Not even next door. Like I don't want to be on the other side of the wall from this person. I don't know why it's different. Because you go to a hotel, you're just on the other side of a wall from somebody. It just hit different.
It's on the it's with the understanding that it's like that. You're not gonna intermingle.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have
much.
to. We wouldn't have had to intermingle. It's just I don't know. There was just some.
It
just felt like it violated some privacy, and I wasn't really sure if it was violating like my privacy or their privacy. It's like I don't want to be this close to you, but I can be that close to strangers in a hotel. But because this is like a home,
it was weird.
It's just weird.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we left without staying there. We canceled it from their driveway, and it was like, look, this is not what we were looking for. We're all set. We're not staying. We didn't even go in.
And I felt so bad in this moment because.
Yeah, I didn't.
Well, I knew this was like when we first started, like being together as well, and this was like our first trip overnight away together, and I was like, I'm so excited, I'm nervous, like whatever, and then we pulled up, we had this experience, and he was like, we're not going to be staying here, and I was like, what?
Yeah,
like,
so we just went to a hotel down the street.
Yeah, and I felt bad because I was like, oh no. But the Tito thing.
Yeah. Then I think he called us. Or
Yeah.
he FaceTimed us or like.
He's like, oh, why are you not in?
There was just. I'm pretty sure he called us through Facebook Messenger. I feel like I remember seeing his face. Because I feel like the expression on his face is what kind of. Because he kept asking questions. I'm like, oh, well. Like he was so interested in the Airbnb and like why we didn't go, why we didn't stay. Well, what was it like? Did you go inside? He was just asking so many questions.
Yeah. But they were weird. Like, well, did you at least get to go see your room? Or like something weird. And I'm like, what?
Maybe it wasn't weird, but it just caught my attention because like, why are we still talking about this?
Right.
And come to find out, he had sent this homeowner a message and said, hey, my friends are going to be staying there this weekend. Can you do, and we still don't even know what he did.
I have no idea. Still to this day, I don't know.
And we tried to get it from the woman. The woman was like,
Yeah, she was pissed.
she just like wasn't interested. Yeah, apparently he had like sent us a card of something like congratulating us on our vacation, and
And we never got it. So I felt
it's still just out there.
I felt like double the amount of bad because
I felt bad for that.
Because I felt
But I
bad.
was also just like
who does that? Who does that except for fucking Tito? And this is a wonderful thing. Like, I am so grateful Tito's our friend. I'm so grateful for our friendship with Tito. And it's just like, that is just the type of friend that he is.
yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
it's
it's
just funny
amazing.
'cause,
He's
like,
so
it makes me
sneakily
feel a little
thoughtful.
just like, for the same reason why I didn't want to stay in the Airbnb, of just like somebody's watching me when I don't think they're watching me, and like just like getting into an area where like, I don't know, this is weird. Like, I would have thought if we had gone in and found the card, I would have felt like really happy, but then I also would have maybe somewhere deep in my brain been, all right, we need to like clear the house now to just make sure that Tito isn't here also somewhere, like waiting to
Yeah.
double surprise us, like jumps out of the bathroom, like always check behind the shower curtain.
Yeah. I'll never forget, too, like, when Tito and I started to develop a friendship, I was talking with Francisco about it, and Frank, one of the times he had traveled, he had gone with Tito to some event, probably in Mexico
Oh,
at the
really?
time, and they were in this, like, very bougie hotel and very, very bougie, place, and he's walking with Tito, and, like, Tito is just getting attention from the staff of the hotel, I believe. This is how the story goes. He's like, oh yeah, Mr. Perez, come here, da-da-da, whatever. And Frank is like, what the fuck? Like, why is Tito of all the, like, not that he doesn't deserve it, but it's just like, why is Tito getting all this
Why is
attention?
anyone getting that
Right.
attention?
And Frank is just like, what the fuck's going on? And he's like, oh, Mr. Perez, this is for you. And he starts, staff starts putting boxes and boxes and boxes on the counter, the reception desk. And Frank is like, what is going on? And Tito he wanted stuff for the trip, so he bought it and he shipped it to the
sure.
hotel. And apparently he had, like, tipped the staff or, like, paid them or, like, something
sure.
to, like,
Yeah.
deliver it directly to him. Frank was just so taken aback, and I was like, noted. And then we got
It's like you know how to travel.
yeah, you sure did.
You just send stuff to your destination. That actually is really great.
Yeah,
Well, you don't have to spend $100 to get your luggage home because it's
right.
90 pounds overweight, however much
That was
it
like our
was.
luggage back from Mexico. Yeah, so we went to Florida.
Florida was really great.
Yeah.
It was a great combination of being so close. We were on the beach.
Oh
Like,
my God.
walk down the stairs and you're on the beach.
Oh, so wonderful. If I could just live the rest of my life like that.
But how
I would
modest that
never-
building was. Because it was probably from like the 50s or 60s, like a 6-unit condo. Whereas all those other places there are like,
Yeah,
God
they're
knows how
the
many millions of dollars.
extra.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need much, just that. Just that.
Yeah. That was
So-
just that was really great. Having our own little place.
Yeah, it was so wonderful. I also became a part of First Form this year, which is
Actually,
something
didn't
that.
put that here.
And
We both did.
yeah, we both did. That's right. Yes. Christopher had sent me this thing from First Form saying like, oh, this advertisement. I'm just like, oh, we're
Become
looking.
a Legionnaire.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're looking for a Legionnaire
yeah,
or something like
becoming
that.
a Legionnaire. And he's like, you should just fill this out and see what happens. And I was like, okay. And I was like, I'll do it, but chances are is that I won't ever hear from anybody or anything because it's just like such a, I don't know if I'm wrong saying this, but I feel that First Form, which is probably what they want, is a more like prestigious thing. And I'm sure that they probably pride themselves on that. If you know Andy Frisell, I'm sure that that's by no coincidence. But anyways, so I filled out this thing, and I specifically remember it just saying, like, after I filled it out, it said, we do not pick everybody, basically, just bluntly. And if you hear from us, if you hear back from us, that's how you know that you know, we want you to do it, and if you don't hear back from us, you didn't get it, type of thing.
I feel like that's also a way of just establishing status.
Yeah, and
Over-
I don't think that that's wrong. I do that with people too. Like, you
I don't think
either
that's wrong.
pass or fail type of thing.
I don't think it's wrong at all. It's just
Yeah. And so I remember I was like, all right, I probably just won't hear back. Like, I probably just won't, like, fit the bill, you know? And it was like, filled it out, never thought about it again, went to teach class. I saw it on my watch. Like an hour and a half later, it said, like, hey, your first form meeting is Thursday. And it was like Tuesday. Your first form meeting is Thursday with so-and-so at like 4 o'clock. And I was like, what the fuck? And yeah, then it just happened. And then you met with someone. I don't remember who.
I think I joined the fall challenge
Yes,
first.
we did do
so
that.
like you became a Legionnaire.
Mhm.
We started using their products more. The fall challenge started popping up in my targeted ads, and
Mhm.
I'm sure it was
No accident.
right. You say no accident, but it's less mystical than like when it's targeted stuff. It's like not surprising, less serendipitous, more like I'm not surprised because I've been looking at the stuff, but yeah, the fall challenge was actually really great for me. I don't think it was that great for you, but
I'm so happy you're happy.
yeah, me too. I felt really terrible that you hurt yourself right at the start of that. But I feel like we both got exactly what we needed. I just got what I wanted.
Yeah.
It's not like in this like karmic sense of you need to be punished or like
No, I
you
know.
deserved to be injured. I think that just watching you have to slow down and be more, I don't want to give the wrong impression. If I say more methodical, it's not because I think you were
Not methodical.
right. But even the most methodical people can be more methodical. It was really tough for me to watch you struggle physically because I've just never seen that before. And it wasn't because you were doing anything ridiculous. It was just like a regular day doing regular day stuff. It was just like little Karamia doing little Karamia things. Like it was Tuesday,
Yeah.
you know? But I hope you feel the same way. I think a lot of good came out of that, just like slow down, pause, reevaluate, and move forward accordingly. Like I saw you work really hard, just like you always do. You just worked really hard in a different way than I have seen you before. And when we both signed up for the First Form Fall Challenge, just an 8-week like fitness, nutrition, accountability challenge, part of me was just like, well, I was gonna do this by myself, but okay, this is really cool. Like we're gonna do it together. And literally like the next day you hurt yourself. And
I
like
was so pissed.
it was just like this roller coaster ride for me of I'm doing something on my own for myself. I'm gonna be accountable to myself. I don't have to have like I'm answering to me, and that's it.
And I was so proud of you too. Like you said, I remember you seeing an advertisement for it or two, showing me, and I was like, all right, yeah, cool. Like those types of things have just never been my thing. And it's not against First Form. Like I've even done ones with like Ashley Horner and Hannah Eden and like all of these people that I've been in touch with of like talking about it or whatever. Like back in Grafton, I had done one with Ashley Horner and I was like in her Zooms and everything like that.
Yeah,
You
I
remember
remember
that? And I was so excited. It just, like I'll do it, but it doesn't give me anything. Like, I don't know. It was a
I was
weird
in Colorado and you finished that.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, yeah. I remember I was driving from Denver to Colorado Springs. I had either like just landed that day and I was, yeah, I think that's right. I just remember driving it's like an hour and a half drive from Denver to Colorado Springs, if I remember correctly, hour and a half, depending on like the road that you take. Yeah, I just remember so clearly like being in the rental car talking about that challenge.
Yeah. And I've done them in the past, but I don't know, it's just like it's just a weird thing, I don't know. But then when he showed it to me, I was like, yeah, babe, like, I think you should do it if you want to do it. And then he literally just looked at me one day and he goes, I just paid for it. Like, I just signed up.
I already did.
I already did it. I just signed up for it. And I was like, okay, well, I guess we're doing it. And then, well, I should probably do it too. And then, yeah, I signed myself up for it.
I think you also just like couldn't not do it.
Well, I wanted to do it
Like
because
the
I wanted to.
competitive.
Don't look at me like that.
Okay.
Well, I knew I wasn't gonna win, which is fine. That wasn't my goal to win.
I told Monte like, I'm gonna win.
I
Like,
know,
I'm
and
in
I
this
was
to
so
win.
proud
Like,
of you.
I want money. I want snacks. I want like that backpack's pretty cool. Like if I'm gonna, it's a challenge. Like
Yeah. And I am so for.
I respond well to the carrot sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a stick.
I am the carrot. But I knew that.
Neither of us won.
No,
I
we
didn't win anything. I don't think.
Yeah, you know what? You won fucking 10 pounds.
Yeah.
That's what he won.
That's not really a prize. That's like I achieved that.
Yeah. It was cool, and I'm glad that we did it together. And I'm not saying I won't do another one. I think we should, like whatever. But yeah, I was so pissed because first or second day doing the workouts, they were super hard. They are still hard. We still do them. And I was just like so excited, and then I got real not excited, and I hurt myself. I strained I don't know if strained or sprained, I still don't know which one is the more correct term.
Jacked up.
It was fucked up.
jacked up.
Yeah, I fucked up my right hamstring really, really badly. And even still right now, touching it, like I can still feel it. It is by no means as it was, but, and then I couldn't do anything, and I just, yeah, I was really pissed. I was so pissed because I started to do this thing and now I can't do it, and I don't know how long it's going to be until
It was like day 2.
can do it.
I think it may have even been the week leading up to the start.
I was so
of it.
annoyed. I was so pissed. And
It felt a little good to be like not the injured one for once.
it felt really bad to be the injured one. Felt really shitty. And then I was just like really grateful that I had Krista there, because if Krista
Pretty sure
was
there's
not
still
there,
somber handprints on the floor that
yeah,
just like won't
I
come
think
off.
so. Because if Krista was not there that moment in that day, she watched me fuck up my leg. I was demonstrating a back kick, not even with my right leg, with my left leg, and I overextended my left leg so much that I did something to my hamstring. I fucked it up in some way. She watched it happen, and then she knew I wasn't right, because Krista just knows. And then she worked on my leg and she helped me out, and she's still been helping me out. And if it wasn't for her, I would not have healed probably so well and so quickly. But
Like that just goes for the blooms in general.
that is true. That is very true. So, but it's all better now for the most part. Sometimes it still bothers me a little bit, but it's really nothing as it was. But then we did finish the challenge together. We just had very different goals, obviously. And
I guess I wasn't
we're
even clear.
still-
You did finish it.
I did finish it.
Quote finish it.
I
There was
did.
guidelines for what
Yeah.
what starting and finishing.
Yeah, I did
meant.
finish it with a fucked up hamstring, and I had told our advisor Monte that I had fucked up my hamstring. However, I was still gonna do as much as I could possibly physically do without using my right leg as much. So I did a lot of stuff like kneeling, or I did a lot of stuff just like I would change
Yeah.
out the exercises, because like doing deadlifts, doing a kettlebell swing, doing anything sort of like hinging, I couldn't do. So my upper body just got like really buff.
So one of the things that has been, I don't even know how to classify it because it's a lot of things. Some of them great, some of them not so great, some of them just okay. I think that I was really starry-eyed. Is that the right phrase for starting that challenge? Naive is the word. I don't know why, but just my brain thought that this will be the answer, or this will be something that gets me the exact results that I just picture in my brain. Like, this is the thing that I'm missing. Like, it'll be somewhere in this process, and at the end of the 2 months I will be where I want to be. It may not have been that clear in the moment that I was kind of feeling that way. It's definitely clear to me now, because after the first couple of times of Monte saying the word baseline, it just hit me that I can make some serious progress in these 2 months, and I have. Things that I haven't been able to do in the past. The real achievements, the real progress, the real accomplishments, all those things are going to be on such a long timeline, and like, that's kind of annoying. For me, it is.
I think you're not alone in that. I think
I
that's
feel like
probably
we all
for
probably
most
feel that way
people.
until you just don't anymore. But the progress I've made in those 2 months, changes that I've seen in those 2 months, and like other people have seen, and like, that has been surprising, because they're big changes to me and for me, because I see them, because it's like, this is my body. Like, I'm in it every day, all day. I know how I feel, look, respond to certain things. But to just have other people in that short amount of time, or in any amount of time really, notice positive changes, is just like, whoa. Kind of like when the kids were like, where's Chris? Where's Coach Chris? Like, oh wait, you actually like are paying enough attention to notice those things? That's just surprising. But it's only just a baseline.
Yeah.
It's just a baseline.
Yeah.
And like, that was the perfect word. It is the perfect word. But it just hit for me because I know what that word means. I know what that word entails, because it's, you're going to see some results, you're going to see some changes, but we're going to take those and apply them to a whole lot longer period of time, which means a whole lot more fucking work and a whole lot of, oh, I'm also like 36 years old and maybe not in great shape, and like, oh, okay, that hurt, oh crap, I can't do that, or okay, I probably should have stretched a little bit longer than I did.
I would say you're also probably, and I'm a little bit biased, but I think that you are also just like physically probably above average than most men your age now. I feel like it's so weird. I feel like there's either men older than you, like in their 40s, 50s, even 60s, that are like some of those guys that you follow on Instagram and stuff that are like older.
Oh yeah.
That are like unbelievably
Like, not into men, but like, damn. Like, we see some at the gym, and I'm just like, that
oh
guy.
my god,
that,
it makes me so, I don't know, it makes me like so uncomfortable.
which makes me enjoy it that much more.
Because
'Cause
he'll just, it's so weird, but he'll just get my attention at the gym, like Planet Fitness, and I'll just be like, or he'll text me and be like, oh, do you see that hunk over there with like the cut shirt? And I'm like, this is a trap. This is a trap. You're trapping me. I don't want to look at another man. I'm uncomfortable. Like,
Just so
but if the
ridiculous.
roles were reversed and I was like, hey, you see that, like, whatever over there, you would feel the same way of just like, oh,
I don't know.
I don't want to look, but I also want to look.
But I know that you do that. Like, I know that you see women, whether it's like in real life or in like social media world, that you're envious of, that like you appreciate what they look like. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
And it, like, yeah, it's fun for me because there is no sexual aspect for me
Yeah.
to it. But having been on this like sort of in, sort of out fitness journey for like a few years, and thankfully, like the first few years, in my experience of being like half in, half out, like 1 foot in, 1 foot out, the pieces hadn't fallen into place yet. Where, well, I don't really do anything because I feel terrible physically all the time, and it just makes logical sense that if I use these like tiny muscles that hurt all the time anyway, if I try to like force them into doing things more, then I'm just going to be in more pain. And that was my experience for a little while, until I just like did it long enough to get through that. But even that had its own grace period of just not noticing. And then it was probably months before I started to realize that, wait a minute, I don't, like, my neck used to hurt all the time. It doesn't really hurt anymore. My back used to hurt all the time. It doesn't hurt as much, but then it would sometimes. And
But it would hurt different. You know, like it would be the hurt from probably gaining and developing muscle and things that you never used before. You know, I just
also just having like a weird anatomy that just like things don't exactly move the way that they're supposed to move, which then also causes pain. So it's this weird, like having Dr. P or chiropractor involved regularly has been a godsend for just being able to physically function and understand that, oh, I can work with this.
Yeah.
It's a mess, but I can work with it. And I kind of have to if I want to like not be in pain all the time, everywhere.
If I didn't see Dr. P, and I'm pretty sure I've said this since I was like 10 years old because he's been adjusting me since I've been that age. Like if I didn't see Dr. P, I couldn't imagine the amount of pain I would be in all of the time. And also, like, I don't think I would be able to do my job very well. So.
Can we experiment with that just so I can see that you are actually a human?
What? What does that mean?
I don't know if this is like a sadistic part of me that I just wasn't aware of, but like I kind of enjoyed seeing you not in pain. I did not enjoy seeing you in pain when you hurt your leg. However, there was this like satisfaction in it of just like, oh, she can be broken. Because even in the times where we do a workout and I feel great about it, almost every single time I feel like I would find out. And what I mean by like I felt really great about it because like we were working out next to each other, and I kept up with you in an area where I normally wouldn't. Like that is how I gauge some of my progress, especially when we're doing like cardio stuff. If I'm closer to keeping up with you, I know that, oh, okay, I'm making progress. That's just like a cool built-in thing that I get as a part of this. Every single time, and I'm not exaggerating, every single time that I've ever felt that, it's followed by finding out that this was your second workout of the day. You're like, oh yeah, I did this morning, and I'm like, okay.
I'm also crazy.
You're not crazy. I
So.
just think that you're just built different than most people. And so yeah, it was satisfying to see that, oh, okay, like you can be hurt. Your body is capable of being broken. It just let me know that, okay, like I can.
It humbled me too.
Yeah, I can catch up to you, maybe.
I'm really not that.
Not catch up to you, but you know what I'm saying.
I don't know. I'm really not that intense. I see a lot of other athletes or a lot of other people who do things, and I'm like, oh, I don't think I'm that intense. Or maybe I don't know. Maybe it's just different. I don't know.
Those people aren't here.
That's true.
So yeah, they do exist, but they've also been training for years
Yeah.
in what they're doing.
It was like we watched The Matrix, where it was just on, and the part where Neo gets cut, and like I think it was the second one maybe, the third one, where I was like, oh, it's like a beautiful marble fucking thing, museum, and they're all fighting in it, remember?
I was thinking of one scene where, like, one of the agents is like, you see, he's just a man.
That's it. It was that one. Yeah, because it
Are you
was
sure?
in that scene. Yeah.
Because I don't
think
remember an
so.
agent being in the room. I know what you're talking about with the
Where he gets cut
With
on
the
his
big,
hand
like-
or gets cut or something. Yeah.
big staircase.
And everyone was just like. What else did we do this year?
I mean, we've had a lot of trips to New Jersey.
Yeah.
We had a trip or two to Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
All of those are really great in their own right.
Mm-hmm.
Those will just continue.
Yeah. We brought the kids. We brought the kids with
Yeah,
us
so
to New Jersey.
yeah, the solo trips are good. The like coffee, food before, after is enjoyable, and I just laugh starting to say that because I just for a moment just remembered that there's cameras watching us and potentially might be people listening to this, and I just my like the Matrix reference and all this stuff just like it brought my brain somewhere else and just like put me in this spot of someone else's brain watching this and just laughing at Christopher saying that the breakfast parts are what's really fun for me. And like, of course you'd fucking say that.
It is true.
But what I mean is the just the one-on-ones, or the one-on-two, the one-on-three, whatever. Like the private sit-downs before, after, especially after. After is just a really special thing that, I mean, you've had years experience now, and like I've only had just a short amount of time getting to experience what those connections bring.
Mm-hmm.
Connections meaning like we're sitting at a table together connecting, not in the sense of like a networking connection, although they are that. What's really special for me in those trips is the afterwards, especially with consideration to New Jersey. Every drive home after New Jersey is like,
Oh my God, it goes
that.
by so fast.
I mean, there was the one time where we get stuck on the bridge for like an hour and a half. I mean, that still went by quickly, but that was just,
Yeah, it was
That-
a lot. I was like, we could get out and walk
yeah.
quickly. And
It's such an aggressive form of driving.
Oh,
Like, it's just amusing of like,
it's my worst.
I'm going to get to here
It is
before you get to here.
It's my worst fucking nightmare. Like I
Not anymore.
couldn't.
Well, I guess it still is, but it's definitely more
Sometimes.
enjoyable
It
now.
is far more enjoyable now than it has ever been. But, like, bridge traffic, New York City traffic, New Jersey traffic, where everyone is just, like, angry.
I mean, I would be...
And
yeah.
just, like, trying to get all at the same spot, all at once, and, like, just...
To just be 13 inches.
Yeah. It is just, like, my worst fucking nightmare.
It
But
just doesn't
Christopher
make-
does
it
a
just doesn't make
wonderful
sense.
job at driving, for one, and for two, he'll, like, sing along to songs. You do this very frequently, but, like, especially just to relax me, because I'm just like, he'll just, like, sing 2 songs, but he'll make up his own words, and they're very, very, very funny. But yeah, at that time,
That also just helps me too. Sorry to interrupt you. I just wanted to say, because I don't know if I've ever said it, that you having such a low tolerance, even though you're not even fucking driving, I'm the one driving,
yeah.
your inability to handle that situation, even as a passenger, just gets me in the right spot where it reminds me to not take it so seriously, to not take the traffic so seriously. That's all it is. It's 4,000 people taking things way too seriously,
Yeah.
way too close to each other. And I mean, yeah, I might have some fun with it. Like, no, I'm not gonna let you go. Oh, no, you go ahead. Oh, just kidding. Like, I might have some fun with people, but it's also, I see I see what I can give to you in that moment, because I've certainly had my share of being a like unhinged road rage driver.
And that's just what I can't stand. And like that is what scares me more than anything, because like I don't know. I just don't understand the road rage thing. For me, like as a driver, there are times where it's just like, okay, you could have gone through that yellow light, but like now we're both stuck here, but like whatever. Like that is the intensity of my road rage. But for some people, that's not the case.
Yeah, it's just that type of that lesson, whatever that lesson is, if it is a lesson, I'm calling it a lesson. Because if I were by myself, or you were not the way that you are, and I'm not the person that I am currently, I could just as easily like kill myself or kill someone, or a combination of both in those situations, because it is just so charged.
Yeah, yeah.
And I just remember feeling or understanding or whatever it is that I just described, where I see you losing your shit as a passenger, and my brain says, oh, I have an opportunity here to make this less scary and more fun for you, which then actually makes it less scary and more fun for me, which then makes it safer for everybody that I'm within 10 feet of. That just makes sense to me. And I'm also like not losing anything by like, if I have to let somebody go ahead of me, like there is a small part of my brain
I
that's
know,
just
it's
like,
autism.
it's like, I'm going to remember that, because like,
Yeah.
if I get a chance to get in front of you
He will.
later on, I'm going to be
He
like,
will.
okay, now we're even.
No,
But it's
we're
not like
even.
it's just like
But
a funny.
I'm the only one keeping score.
But it's not like an angry thing. It's just like
Yeah.
a funny thing. And I intentionally bought a vehicle that has no balls, specifically for these circumstances where like I couldn't road rage now if I tried in that thing. And if it would be the most pathetic road rage exhibition ever. It's going to be like a 4 mile an hour, just poof,
Yeah.
like fender bender.
Maybe.
And now this is awkward because now we're just here.
Standing here. Yeah. It's definitely better. But what you were saying is like the time after is like, to me, I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but to me it's like, in my experience, in our experiences, when you train with someone, in my experience, it's Frank. You know, Frank Vigouroux, for those who don't know, but I think mostly everybody knows. That's my sensei, and it's like when you have just that locked-in time with your instructor, and it's just you guys, and there's nobody else, maybe 1 or 2 people, but it's purely just you guys on the same page, on the same wavelength, and you're just matching each other's energy so much. And then like Frank and I will go, I don't even know how long. Like you're the one recording, and it's usually just like hours. And we don't really even talk much.
I don't measure it in hours. I measure it in like how many cheese breads have I eaten from ladies.
Yeah, I've eaten 7 cheese breads, so it's probably been about 5 hours.
Yeah, I will say that is one thing that makes the ride home
Oh my
a little
God,
bit
so
uncomfortable. A little uncomfortable. So like,
because we just
I've had to switch out the cheese bread after like a couple of those. Just like, oh fuck me, it's uncomfortable. But you say like, how many hours? I don't know either. I mean, it was light out earlier. Now it's not light out anymore. Like I had breakfast while I was here. I had lunch while I was here.
Second breakfast.
And then I had second lunch while I was here. That's kind of how my brain measures it.
But the time after is like, I don't know, in my opinion, just like such a sacred thing that I didn't know existed for a long time until I met Frank. And the time after of just, okay, now you and I, me and Frank, are, or whoever is here, are now like physically exhausted, emotionally exhausted, mentally exhausted. Now we're just tired. And we all want to go either eat and just chill out and relax and talk. And like that time is just, again, in my opinion, it's like a very like sacred thing, you know? And like I said, I don't know if everybody feels that way, but I don't know. And not everyone has that privilege, I think, because I think of it with my students too of I don't know, it's weird because it is like a privilege, but it's also not at the same time, because like I'll hang out with anybody or train with anybody or talk with anybody for the most part, but there are some things or some scenarios that are just like special. Like training for my 4th degree that time was so special, you know, like learning Long 7 during all of that time, like those moments in that time and all of that was so special. You know, that only happens once. You only get to learn this thing and learn how to do these things. And
If you do it right, I
yeah,
suppose.
yeah, if you do it right. And spend this time together with these people. That only happens one time. You know, you only get to be promoted to a 3rd degree once. You only get to be promoted to a 4th degree once. You only get to be promoted to a 5th degree once. And it's just like each time is such a new experience, because my experience training for my 2nd degree or even my 3rd degree with Frank was such a different experience than training now. And I'm so looking forward to the next one, you know?
I think that's why going to David's in Pennsylvania, Frank's in New Jersey, Tony's in Baltimore is just as good as it has been. Because on some level, I say we, it's really you, sort of we. We're all trying to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So you were all in very different, I don't want to say levels. You were on different levels. You're in different areas of your own timelines, but you're all trying to do the same thing. Like you're all trying to see if your microphone's still working.
Yeah, just checking.
Okay. You're all trying to train yourselves, train the people that are underneath you. You're talking about that sacred time. I know that is a big part of why it is so valuable and so sacred, because you're all trying to do the same thing. And you all understand each other's struggles. You all understand the work that you've put in. Any time spent together is investing in solidifying that, and then like growing your own like personal relationships with each other.
Yeah. And it's so cool because it's just like always I'm so like, I don't know, surprised, I guess, or whatever, when people, like my friend Tony, for example, is like, when he asked me to help him learn Long 7, and he asked me, he goes, hey, you know, can you teach me Long 7? And I was like, what? Like, you want me to teach you? Like, you are so, like, dude, what the fuck? Like, you want me to teach you something? That's just, like, so humbling. And I was like, oh, you should probably ask someone else. I don't know. And he's like, no, I want you to teach me Long 7. And I was like, okay. And, like, when we were there, he was just, like, so happy to do that. And I don't know. I also, you don't think in those moments of, like, learning something. And I'm sure this is not just for Kempo as well. It could be with, like, anything, I guess. But you don't think in the moments when you're learning something that now I'm also going to have to teach this to a person. Whether that's tomorrow or whether that's in 5 years or 10 years or whatever. I'm now one day going to have to teach this to someone. And that happened very quickly with Long 7. And
It was like a couple weeks maybe.
yeah. And I was
It's
like,
not long.
dude, I just finished this. Like, I don't know if I'm the person that you want teaching it to you. And
Maybe he wouldn't have asked you if he had seen the video I made.
Yeah.
Blooper reel.
You're right. You're probably right. He probably been like, no. You've probably been like, no, someone else. I just didn't think that I would have the opportunity to do that, or even teaching the kids Lung 4, you know, for their black belts. It was like, oh shit, I gotta teach this to people now. And I don't know, it's just a cool thing. I didn't think it would be valuable to anybody other than me, you know? Like, I didn't think that these things would be special or valuable, or someone would want this other than just purely selfishly, like, just me. Like, I just want to know it. I just want to do it. I just want to learn it. I just want to be able to do it.
That's why it's really fun to have the kids, no matter where they are at in their understanding of their curriculum, to have them teach somebody
Yeah.
usually that's less experienced, less knowledgeable than them. Like, hey, you got yellow belts that just might...
Need some help.
What I was thinking actually was, you know, some... doesn't matter what your rank is, but like there's certainly kids who are like yellow, orange belts who are just better than, you know, like a purple or blue belt, even with some things.
Yeah.
I wasn't even there. I didn't even hear it. But what you told me, Larry Tatum said to you one time when you asked him at a private lesson, he said, if you want a private lesson, you're better off going and teaching one.
Yeah.
That always, like I said, I wasn't even there. I didn't even witness that. But
And
that
that
has stuck with me. And I just see it all the time, where like we were just saying about, okay, I can learn this. That's one thing, and that's an undertaking. But then I almost have to learn it again while I'm trying to teach it to somebody. I can do this. Like, give me the sticks, I can do it. But then to try to teach it to somebody, like, do I even know this?
Yeah, I don't know which one's my right. That's what I told Tony. I was like, literally, I cannot explain it. I cannot use words. Don't ask me what things mean. Just monkey see, monkey do. I will think about it, and then I'll be able to help you
That must have been
after.
great.
But
That's all I want.
I was like, don't ask me any questions. Just do what I do.
I can't wait to hear about
His belt test.
all of the experiences he's had over the last few months, basically since we saw him.
Yeah.
So there's definitely been a lot going on.
And if you guys don't know or don't follow my friend Tony Martin, he's down in Baltimore. He has a studio, Martin's American Kempo Karate, and him and his wife Tammy just, I don't know if they just opened or bought, whatever, I'm not sure which, this brand new studio, and it's wonderful. And we got to do a seminar there with myself, Tony, Jocelyn, and Frank. It was awesome. It was a good time. It was really fun. And that was the first time that I had met. No, I didn't meet. Jocelyn very lovingly and politely reminded me that we had met in the past, and I just didn't know that. And
I was there.
I was so embarrassed.
I did get to witness that. That was
yeah,
pretty
I
awesome.
was so embarrassed. I was just like, oh no. Oh, I'm sorry. But it was nice to meet him again for the second time and train with him and be on the floor with him and teach with him. Like, oh, that was just, everything was awesome about that seminar. And Tony, I hope that you will do that, you know, again.
Yeah, the Martins are another wonderful. Are we a Kempo couple? Like, is that fair as a purple belt to call that?
Yeah.
What I was just saying was hashtag Kempo wives.
That's him and Tammy.
Yes. We have our own Kempo wives club.
Yeah. And Tony Martin is very well known for his Technique Tuesdays. So I look forward to his Technique Tuesdays, which should also be coming out in a few days. Right? No. What day is it?
It's Friday.
Okay. Yeah, he puts out a Technique Tuesday every Tuesday, and he goes over, he just picks a technique, he goes over it, he teaches it, he beats the shit out of Austin, which is fun to watch. I met
He's using
Austin.
some of his other adults, which I'm sure Austin appreciates. Or maybe
Yeah.
Austin's in the hospital.
I don't know. But yeah, go follow them if you're not already.
Austin's really great too. He's like
Yeah.
another one that I really just identify with.
Yeah, he's a cool dude. And he is so hungry for it. You know?
He's also the one usually getting hit.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, can you come up here for? Okay.
Yeah.
And just like adjust here and make sure that
No, he's a good
everything is in its place
He's a
and
good
protected.
Kempoist. He's got a good instructor. So I put this in my I guess we can maybe end the year recap. Oops. With. So I turned 29 this year, and a few people have told me that the 30s are like their villain era, and like I'm okay with that. I
I don't even know what that means.
Kind of fun. I really don't know either, but it sounds fun.
I feel like people that say that they've probably been a villain for a little while.
Maybe, but now they're just more open about it. I guess that's okay.
Or they're just even worse.
Maybe. But I turned 29, and it was my birthday here, and all the kids were very happy because most of them got to punch me. And, you know, we were just talking with the kids afterwards, and Anant said to me, because I just made the joke of just like, oh man, I'm fucking so old, man. But Anant said to me, he goes, oh, don't worry, coach, like you haven't even reached your peak yet. Like you haven't even peaked yet, don't worry about it. And I don't know, I believed him. Like I just chose to believe him in that moment. And honestly, Anant, like I think about that, I even put that in my post. This is the first time in my like experience of life that can't wait for things, you know, like it hasn't always been that way, and
That makes a lot of sense.
And I can't wait for, like, I don't know, I'm just like really looking forward to all of the things. I know most people are like, they dread turning 30 and then whatever, and to me it's not about like, oh man, like I'm gonna be fucking 30, it's like, oh, I can't wait. Like, so much cool shit has happened to me and to us over the past 2, 3, 4 years. Like, I'm so excited and looking forward to what can happen and what will absolutely happen in the next 2, 3, 4 years from now. And yeah, I've just never looked forward to things like I have.
I think a lot about the context of that because it comes up in a lot of different areas where there's this quirky dichotomy where you've been doing this for a really long time. I say this, like you can assign whatever this, there's a lot of thises when I say that. You've been doing this for a long time, but you also haven't been doing it this way for very long.
Yeah.
So there's this fun balance, I guess experiment you could say, where things become an experiment, where you've been doing things for so long, but then just like you said, it's only recent where things have been enjoyable, or it's only recent where things have blank. Like there's so many different ways to fill in that blank that we would need like hours and hours to dive into that. I don't really think it needs to be right now, but I remember realizing that where, yeah, on the surface, things might be the same, but they are not the same. It's really neat to play with that and just get curious about that and be open-minded about things. I feel like even with that, we're only just kind of like scratching the surface.
I think so too. Whether it's something so simple in like the Kempo world, things, you know, that I've never done and that we've never done, and just different things that can happen, or...
It's just like Monte telling me that, like, we're just getting a baseline.
This baseline.
Same. What? Oh.
Christopher suggested that we play this game.
Suggestion. It's like, we're doing this and here's the cards.
Which is fine. Lindsay and Renan gave us this,
things.
Right?
I think you're right. It wasn't this holiday season.
It was last Christmas, I think. They gave it to us. So
yeah,
basically...
I wondered about that because I wanted to give credit where credit was due, but then I was just not...
They always get us such fun, nice gifts. It's so sweet. So he thought that we should end this with having a little bit of fun, and the cards even say that, of like the couples game that's actually fun.
I actually wanted to start
Oh.
this way.
Well,
Get things rolling.
So I guess we're gonna do this for a few, and just fucking see what happens. Can you explain it so that people know?
Is there really anything to explain? So, I'm looking at the box. Don't
Yeah.
worry about it. It doesn't matter. So you each get dry erase boards,
Mm-hmm.
marker, and a little eraser pad, the deck of cards. There is a couple of different types of cards. So, depending on the card that gets picked from the deck, so you don't see them, I know what they all say now because I hand-picked a bunch of cards. You either want the best answer to a question, or to put it a different way, we pick this card. Whoever has the best answer on their dry erase board wins that round. I don't even know if there's like a point system to this game.
I think
or
there
not.
should be, but we don't
There might be.
fucking do it.
We've been using this for fun, and that's it. So like that's best answer. There's some who are me or you, like who is more competitive. Like I said, I handpicked these, so like there should be no guesses why that card made the cut.
Okay.
Or you're trying to match an answer, like what's the best trip we've ever taken.
I see.
So the idea with that would be
To match to get the same answer. To both put the same thing.
right. Or if you then repeatedly don't match your partner, a fight ensues, and you break up, and maybe one of you takes this game into your next couple, and like
my
maybe that one
God.
goes better. I don't
That
know.
has not happened. That's not happening.
No, this has actually been a really fun. Some of the cards aren't that great.
Christopher got me started playing games by playing Uno.
That's probably correct. My thought was to just lay these all out, but
But we don't ever do anything how they're actually done.
Except our Instagram food recipes, which I follow exactly to the T, and they turn out horrible. Horrible.
It's not good. It's not good.
It's almost as bad as trying to slide these on the desk here. This is actually really
sorry.
bad
Do you
too.
want my help?
Why don't you pick a card?
Me or you? Which one of us has the highest pain tolerance? Should we show our answers forward first?
You know what might be actually kind of fun, and I didn't even think of this until now, is that they can probably do this too
Yeah,
when
they
they're
get to
watching
think
this.
too.
So-
You know what? You keep score, actually,
Yeah.
of who wins.
Which
I
one of us
guess.
has the highest pain tolerance?
But let's show forward
Yeah,
first. and
that,
then
that was something I had considered.
Ready?
Oh, baby.
Yeah. My baby.
Just a baby. Oh,
Just a baby. Oh. You what? You know it's coming. You picked these.
I either forgot or this one slipped in.
Okay.
If we were a horse and cowboy, who would ride whom? So who's the horse and who's the cowboy? Oh, man.
Oh, what? Okay. Ready?
So if we were a horse and cowboy, who would ride whom? I don't remember putting this card in the file. It's funny.
Okay.
Wow. Saddle up.
Saddle up.
I feel like you were just more manly than me, and not in a bad way. Just tougher.
Maybe.
I'm okay with it.
Okay.
I accepted it a long time ago. I know who I married.
Best answer. What's the strangest place we've stopped on a road trip?
I think this is the strangest, considering the full scope of
okay,
things.
all right, I got one.
Did I just give? Okay. Never
No,
mind.
I got one. All right.
I don't even know if the camera can can see this.
I don't. Maybe.
I forgot about that.
Baltimore Waffle House.
Yeah, just on paper, that reads really
Oh
strange.
my God, it was so.
We walked to a Waffle House at 11 p.m. in Baltimore.
In Baltimore at 11 p.m. We walked across a highway multiple times to get to a Waffle House.
I was hungry.
Because this man needed some Waffle House, and I had never been to a Waffle House before.
It's just the cowboy in me.
Okay. Fucking saddle up. We're going to Waffle House. And it's 11:30 p.m., bitch.
Had steak and eggs. And it wasn't dangerous, actually. It was fine. Nobody threw a chair. Nobody got
I remember I took a video of us walking up to the Waffle House because I wanted to send it to my mom, and I caught the audio of you saying like, "Oh, I feel kind of bad having you do this right now."
I did feel pretty guilty bringing you to Waffle House in Baltimore.
That's exactly what you said in that clip.
But it turned out fine.
It was fine. It was good. Pecan waffle.
What is the best
Oh.
trip we've ever taken? What?
Did you remember my answer that I had written? That glass blowing place?
Glass blowing place, yeah, with the
the
dog.
dogs. Yeah,
The dog was really great.
'Cause it was
Glass
just
blowing
random.
was just like,
yeah. It was weird. But anyways, what was it?
what's the best trip we've ever taken? Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew that was a softball of a question.
What are you most looking forward to about growing old together?
Hmm. I probably should have thought of this when I put it in the deck.
Fucking cowboy.
Be able to see this, but
Yeah, you're not gonna be able to see mine either. Nobody's gonna be able to read it. But
No, it's okay.
It's okay. Go ahead. Just tell me what yours is.
you being in pain more often. more great experiences and trips together.
Yeah.
Waffles.
Mhm.
You're going to be a hot older woman.
Thanks.
Building it together.
Yeah. Mine says you're
Building
great.
it together.
You're great
Building
being-
all the it's together.
Yeah. Your gray beard.
I saw that. There's some grays in there.
I know. Being old and still being as we are right now, and then storytelling about young us.
Hmm. I didn't even think of that. I've never, I guess, really thought of that way. But now I'm thinking of our friends that do that, and they talk about themselves when they were like dating or
Yeah.
like early in their marriage or all that stuff.
Yeah.
Best answer in one word. Oh God, what was your first impression of me?
One word.
That's what it says. Jamie, can you spell check this word?
Yeah. This is not right.
I'm so curious if people actually listen to this and make it to this part
Yeah, right?
to hear what some of their answers might be.
This is
Is
not.
that one word?
Yes. But I really have two.
I mean, yeah, so do I.
And I fucked
I-
mine up.
I erased my first one because I think this one's just a little bit better.
Okay. Okay. I wrote serendipitous.
You wrote 4 words.
No,
3
no.
words.
It's like that feeling of things feel.
That's not an impression of me. That's an impression of like us meeting.
Well, wasn't that the answer? Wasn't that the
In
thing?
one word, what was your first impression of me?
Yeah, because you made me feel that way. And also the second one was Dan.
Mm.
Hmm.
It's so inappropriate. We were at a funeral.
Yeah. If we had unlimited money, what's the first thing that we would buy? Yeah. We're kind of the same.
I wasn't specific about where.
Yeah.
That's actually what I thought when I put the card into the pile.
Oh. Hey, Jamie, how long have we been going for?
This one. Cause
You wanna
now-
end on that
'cause now
one?
I'm hungry.
Oh, okay.
What's the best dinner we've ever had together?
Okay. The best ever? Jeez.
I'll give you 2 answers. Meaning you're allowed to put 2 answers because I get 2 answers.
Okay.
You get dinner waiting.
Okay.
And I'm not even being naughty. Nobody can read this.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Nobody even knows probably what we're talking about anyways.
First date, okay.
To me, it was like,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
and then like literally any dinner together in Mexico. It's hard to pinpoint one for me.
Well, I can pinpoint it by saying dinner with our Mexican family.
Yes, that is true.
I started to write Crabster, which is a restaurant in Mexico, which I thought was phenomenal. But it was really, it's a toss-up between, like, that was a great, like, restaurant dinner. I think one of my favorite dinners in Mexico was actually just at, like, Tito's house,
It sure was.
because that was really wonderful. We went down the street to our friend's house, is kind of just how it felt. And the other one, I think you'll remember this, just from the description, but there was like our first, like, at-home, like, dinner date. I don't even remember what it was. Pretty sure it was just, like, something microwaved.
Yeah.
I don't even remember.
Yeah.
I don't even know. Did we both eat? Yeah,
I
we
think
did.
so.
But you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You're like, all the lights are off.
Candles lit, I think.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
And some of them were probably electric candles,
Yeah.
battery-powered candles. But I remember the table was this way. Or maybe no, I think the table was this way.
I'm not sure.
Wasn't the table still horizontal at that
I've
point?
moved it
'Cause we
like
ended-
7 times.
Yeah. But I remember I sat in a different spot than I normally would. I remember you sat on this corner and I sat at the head of the table on this side. I remember the dinner was in bowls, but I don't remember what it was.
I don't remember either. Mine was the Garden Grill, our first outing date. I know he has like a PTSD with our first date, but
Yeah, like
to me it was
hashtag first date is a inside joke for me getting uncomfortably, uncontrollably ill about an hour before our first date.
yeah, like our
And-
first real date, like gonna pick me up at 6, gonna like gotta be ready, like
Yeah,
asked me to go, had me surprised with where we were going, like our first real date.
yeah, and it was like, it was great because I knew about this vegetarian restaurant, which you're not really vegetarian
Not
anymore.
anymore, but it's still great. Like it's still a good place.
But at that time, it was pretty strict
yeah,
vegetarian, even sometimes vegan,
Yeah.
if it were an option. But yeah, that restaurant was just really great for that. As an avid meat eater, I was actually full and satisfied anytime I ate there. But I saw first date on your card, and it's just,
I know. I'm sorry, but it was a good experience. Dinner, like for
yeah,
me.
so much so that it even today, I told you, like, oh, my stomach just feels like uncomfortable, and what did you say? Like, is it like first date level, or are you
Yeah.
just like uncomfortable? So, yeah, it was that bad. I'm like sitting there an hour before our date at my house, and I'm just like, she's not going to believe this. She's going to take it as he just didn't mean it. He doesn't want to go out with me. He doesn't want to take me out. Meanwhile, I'm also just thinking of, okay, it's 4 minutes to the apartment from here. It's 40 minutes to the restaurant from here. There's only one bathroom in the restaurant, so that's going to be awkward if I have to use the bathroom while we're there. But I can't not go, because this bitch just isn't going to believe me that I'm just suddenly sick to where I can't go. But I also don't want to tell her what's going on, because that's embarrassing too. I just remember
All the
being
Pepto-Bismol.
so grateful that there was, I think it's Imodium. Pretty sure it's Imodium. There was Imodium in the house, and I was so grateful.
Yeah,
And it was probably like 14 years past expiration, but
but it still worked, I guess.
it worked.
We got there okay.
What a great way to end podcast. It's an inside joke, but it's also just a wonderful way of communicating on the down low.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
was
Well,
on the
it
down low
was.
anymore.
It's not anymore.
A way of just, we could be in a crowded room with all these people. And if something's happening, I know that there's a way that I can communicate it. Or one of us can communicate it.
This was so fun.
Okay.
Thanks for doing this with me. And I hope if anybody is still watching or listening at this point that you also had fun.
I'm grateful for 2024. Like a calendar year is not necessarily a way that I put a lot of context into things, or
Yeah.
I just don't look at what our calendar year was. Was it good? Was it bad? I just don't like judging it in that way. Mostly I'm glad that it was in the context of like the trajectory. There's obviously stories in there that are really great to remember, and the people that were there for them, and the serendipitous happenings as far as, wow, a lot of really random things had to happen at the exact right time in the exact right place with the exact right people for that one little thing to happen.
Yeah.
Those are lovely. But this is also just a baseline.
But like I said, I hope that you guys had fun watching this or listening. If you made it this far, like,
I'm surprised I made it this far.
yeah, good job. Like I said earlier, please subscribe or like or comment or however the fuck YouTube works to this particular channel. This was really fun, and I look forward to doing this again with
Yeah,
you.
I'm more just looking forward to all the people that are going to be around
Yeah.
very soon.
Yeah.
The people that are just, we don't get to see very often, or the people that we do see every single day, and everything in between.
Yeah.
To just have this type of opportunity. In one big way, I think about why would I even do this? Because what do I have to say that
So
anybody's going to
much.
want to listen to? What do I like?
So much. I never get tired of listening to you.
I mean, that's convenient.
And I don't say that in like a biased way, but it's just like every time you talk about anything or like your stories or anything, like I never get, I don't know, it's just wonderful. I really love it. And I think a lot of other people would love it too. And yes, it is convenient as well.
I think it's just also like a prerequisite. Like I think that's somewhere in the house.
Yeah. Thank you guys. If you made it this far,
We'll see.
we'll see you soon.
All of you.
Yeah,
Well, maybe not
most
all
of
of
you. Most of you very soon.
you.
You can eat now.